Welcome, everyone, to Creator Economy NYC. Woo! How's everyone doing tonight? Good? How's everyone doing tonight? All right, amazing. Guys, it's April. It's spring in New York. It's kind of still cold out, a little wintry in the mornings at least. And it's Financial Literacy Month. How many people knew that? Show of hands. Okay, only the finance creators in the room. All right, well now you know something new. Happy Easter to those who celebrate. Happy Passover to those who celebrate. All right, April's a big month. Amazing. How many people here are returners to Creator Economy NYC? Let me hear you holler. It's like this side only, okay? How many people here first time Creator Economy NYC? All right, amazing. We got some new folks. Well, welcome, everybody. So excited to have you all here. Creator Economy NYC, we are the capital of the creator economy, the place where creators, marketers, and founders meet, learn, and earn. All right, this is the place to be building, and we are so excited to have you here today. I got a few messages from people that they're new to New York. If you're new to New York, raise your hand. Okay, wow, amazing. Well, welcome. Hope you found your community here, which is so exciting. Amazing. Now, these events, for those who have been here before, they take a village to put on, all right? It takes a community to put on these community events. And so always like to kind of start off my welcome remarks giving a shout out to those that help make tonight happen. So first and foremost, to our team that helped out. If you were out front, we had Mel, we had Anna, we had Meda, we have Kat over here with the activation. We have folks on content, Ryan, Ben, Alex, and Ciara. Other support, we had Leon who helped with setup, and also the Relay team, our sponsors who we'll get into. They were huge with supporting, with setting stuff up, which we're very excited. And of course, the whole Georgia Room and Freehand Hotel staff, bartenders, everybody. Let's give a huge round of applause and thank you to them. We love it. We love it. And lots of moral support from too many people. I just can't name them all. Fantastic. Well, to put on these events, we tend to partner with some amazing brands in this space that are supporting creators, that are supporting next-gen small businesses, right, that are supporting startups, everything that we're building, that are supporting marketers, right, this whole creator economy ecosystem, right, which is both the creators and then, of course, you know, the brands, the platforms that are supporting that whole environment. And so tonight, very excited to be supported by the financial side of things, which is always very important in the creator space, especially when you want to be building a business. And that tonight is our supporting partner, presenting partner, which is Relay. How many people here are familiar with Relay? How many people after tonight are going to be familiar with Relay? All right. Look at that. Look at that. I did not pay them, by the way. Here. Where's the Relay team? Can we see, show of hands, a little shout out? Amazing. Guys, the Relay team, they have so many good giveaways out there. Hats that say self-made, which is amazing. That's what the creator economy is all about, you know, that independence, the self-made aspect. And Relay is such a unique platform that I'm excited for us to be partnering with and to be with Creator Economy NYC because this is my bank account, by the way. Exactly. No, I'm only kidding. I wish, honestly, man. After this event, woo! Relay is focused on business banking for small businesses in a very unique way, and they understand, in particular, creators in terms of how we make income and how income can fluctuate, right? And they just have the right tools and visuals for understanding your money better than any platform that I've been on, and especially better than many of the traditional banks, especially if you're using a personal bank account, which we'll get into, which you should not be using for your business. And so very excited to have Relay as a partner here. And for those of you who are looking to up your business banking and have been looking for that banking partner, of course, Relay is that super simplified platform. And we have this QR code if the lighting allows. But if you want to scan this, it's a link for us at Creator Economy NYC to kind of check out Relay and more of what they have to offer. But of course, we'll share that afterwards. But tonight would not be possible without them. So I just want to give a huge, rambunctious, loud Creator Economy NYC thank you to our Relay crew. And we even have the co-founder and CEO on our panel tonight, Yusuf, which is going to be really exciting. Coming all the way in from Toronto, our sister city, the six. Amazing. And of course, we have some supporting partners, which we are always grateful for, that help make the night even more memorable. Adobe Express, which of course we're all familiar with Adobe Express, a super simple platform for all your design needs, whether you're a creator or a brand. I'm a huge fan of them. CENYC, which is, disclaimer, my other business. We are a platform focused on analyzing comment sections for brands and agencies. So to really help you save time there, sifting through the comments, to help understand campaigns, and also just general research. And then the Wishly Group, they are the leading B2B talent agency. I am proudly repped by them, along with Jack Appleby here, who is on our panel as well. And so we're just grateful for their support. So let's just give a huge round of applause to all of our supporting partners. Woo, 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 woo. Love to hear it. All right, so getting into tonight's programming. As I mentioned, what is April? What is April? Financial Literacy Month. Okay, how many people consider themselves financially literate? A lot of honesty out here. A lot of honesty out here. I am not raising my hand for that. And so I am excited to be diving into this panel because typically at our events, we talk a lot about making money, right? That's the exciting thing. But what I feel like we're missing is what happens when the money starts coming in, right? Sometimes it comes in very rapidly. You know, I know many creators in this space who blew up quite fast and they started to make a lot of money and frankly just had no idea how to handle it. When I started Creator Economy NYC, I was working out of my personal checking account. They're all face-palming themselves out here. And I remember my first brand deal, which was with, I think it was with Captions app. Do we have anyone from Captions here? Yeah? Are you from Captions? Oh, but you use it? Okay, use it. They were one of our first brand partners, and like I remember like getting like maybe it was like a Venmo or Zelle from them, and like then when tax season came around, it was just like a whole absolute mess. And so financial literacy is incredibly important, and also knowing what to do when the money starts coming in is very important. And so that's ultimately what we're going to be diving into today, kind of understanding how creators are making money today, and then ultimately building and sustaining that. And of course, tax season is coming up, or tax day is coming up, and so we might touch on that as well. How many people here are ready for their taxes? Show of hands. A lot of honesty again. Oh my God, guys, go home. You're coming. You have taxes to do. Oh my God, absolutely crazy. That's why you're here. Okay, free advice, right? How many people here consider themselves a full-time creator? Right, creating is your full-time income. Okay, what about part-time? You're a part-time creator, right? Doing alongside something else. How many people here are kind of aspiring creator, right? You're getting, you're ramping up a little bit. All right. Marketer, or like you support kind of more of the business side of the creator economy? Happy to be here? Okay. I've seen like some people's hands come up. Do you guys just walk in from the other room? Like the Greenberg wedding going on or something out there? Anyway, so we're going to dive into our panel. There's a couple of rules that we have for our panel. One, of course, please be quiet. I know in the back, sometimes it gets loud, but also please look out for folks around you. Guys, our events, get 600 plus RSVPs. Okay, you have to basically apply to come to these events now, and you're all here for a reason. Okay, so I hope you make the most of it, that you meet great people, that you learn something. You also should all have kind of a pad, a note thing, and a pen. Does anyone not have one? No? Because we can make sure that you guys get one. If we come around, there should be some on the tables. But please take notes during our programming. We're going to chat for around 30 or so minutes, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. And I will cue that, and then afterwards we'll get back to kind of mixing and mingling and having a great time and sharing all the knowledge that we learned. Does that sound good? All right, does that sound good? All right, love to hear it. So with that, please join me in giving a loud, a rambunctious New York welcome to our amazing panelists, Viviana, woo, Yusuf, Ariel, and Jack Appleby. Amazing. Look how tall Jack is. Look how tall he is. Fantastic. All right, we love height. Okay, we can all sit. We can all sit. Look, this is like Broadway. I love it. All right. Let me get settled here. Okay, so real quick, for everyone in the room and on the panel, kind of as I alluded to, I want you to raise your hand if you've ever gotten a brand deal payment and just let it kind of hit your personal bank account or Venmo, whatever it might be. Okay, wow, a lot of folks. All right. we want that to change. As I shared my semi-horror story in terms of what I ran into when that was my situation. Did any of the panelists raise their hand? No. You guys were, come on, Jack.
No, sorry, I definitely did. Yeah.
Do you remember what it was for, what the situation was?
I probably forgot to invoice for it.
Okay.
So, like, all other kinds of problems we'll talk about.
Okay, very exciting. Well, of course, before we dive in, I want to give the panelists a chance to introduce themselves. And so, Viviana, you're to my left. So why don't we start with you, a little brief introduction, and then we will go down the line and then move to our first question.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Viviana Vasquez. For those of you that don't know me, I am a personal finance creator online. My handle is OverGenPoverty, and it stands for Overcoming Generational Poverty. I was actually the first one in my family to overcome this cycle and build generational wealth. I self-taught myself everything that there is to know about personal finance, and now I'm teaching other people how to manage, grow, and build wealth online, ultimately. I also pivoted from teaching to tech, so I documented my career journey. I've been creating content since 2021, so I have a lot of really educational content out there. And I most recently started a podcast with my husband, and specifically we talk about tech, money, and love.
Oh, amazing. Where's hubby at?
Right
Hey, very nice, very nice. Well, we're so glad to have you. It's amazing. Yeah. And here's just a little overview of Viviana's content from a very popular video that she launched recently. We could play it here. I think everyone should be able to see it.
Viv, are you crazy? Why would you quit your six-figure job? That's what our parents sacrificed their entire lives for, so you can have that job. What? Why would you throw that away? To become a content creator? Really? I grew up poor. I'm the eldest daughter. I've overcome a lot of shit. And despite coming from nothing, last year I 10x'd my revenue as a content creator while working my full-time job. I went from 7K to 70K from this, a little bit of this, and that. But I'm just getting started. I 10x'd my revenue once, and I know I can do it again. But here's the hard part. I want to do it ethically. I want to get paid for views. I want to work with brands that will pay me my worth, speaking engagements, affiliate income, more affordable, helpful products.
And I'm gonna win this Stan Dare to Dream challenge.
Because if they can do it, why can't I? Oh, and did I mention? I'm also going to be building an app.
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome, Viviana. That's amazing. Is the app been pronounced yet?
It's in the works. It's in the works.
Okay.
I actually am working on like a mini relationship app for financial compatibility, and then I'm going to launch the bigger one.
Oh, that's very exciting. Very smart. Amazing. Well, welcome, Viviana.
Thank you.
All right, Yusuf, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I feel like I almost don't need to introduce myself. That was such a wonderful intro. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm the co-founder and CEO of Relay. We built banking to help you get cash flow clarity. Very inspired to be in this room with you all. While I was talking to someone suggested that I might be a creator, which I was like, that is such a wonderful compliment. Yeah, you heard that was my team laughing. Anyways, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Well, we're grateful to have you. Also, there's so many founder creators here. I'm one of them, you know. So we got to start picking up the camera maybe after this. Guys, come up and encourage him, and we'll start seeing more Yusuf content. It's out here. Well, we're grateful for your partnership, and thanks for being here. Amazing. Oh, we're gonna pass it off to Jack. We're gonna do a little hop. Here's Jack.
That photo is so sick.
I thought you were gonna wear a baspetball jersey tonight, but
yeah, I actually thought about it.
Spare us the arm.
Well, I'm a different person every time I come to this event. But hi, everybody. I'm Jack Appleby. I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of you over the years. I've been coming to these since, Brett, how long has this been going on now? This is the 40th event, right?
This is the 40th event. How did I forget to mention that? Whoa. Whoa. Thanks for planting that. You came to our second or third event ever back
when
in
we met, we didn't have these jobs. You were talking about doing this. I was talking about doing my thing, and then here we are.
Look at that. Look at that.
But so I'm a content creator who I now have 2 content media businesses. I originally started with my newsletter, Future Social, and then my LinkedIn and Twitter presence, where I talk about social media strategy from the brand perspective, like looking forward in the industry. And that business has developed quite a bit now. I had a course on personal branding. I have some digital products that help people like really dip their toe into being public online. and have about 250,000 followers for that business now. And then 2 years ago, because it's tough writing marketing essays once a week, it gets a little stale every once in a while, I thought it'd be funny to make some videos about my adult basketball comeback. And I had this little hook where I'm a 37-year-old washed-up ex-college player trying to get it back. Third video went viral, and then started playing in rec leagues and setting goals for myself, and then somehow got recruited to play pro basketball overseas. So now I am a part-time professional basketball player, which then evolved into I now own my own pro basketball team that I self-fund, partially with help from Relay, where I run all of my team's finances through their platform publicly on my account. So I mean, I'm just getting back from Thailand and Germany, where we played overseas. Like my privately funded pro basketball team beat the German national team 2 weeks ago.
Oh, all right.
Number 13 team in the world for 3x3.
Take that, Germany.
So I'm here today because I've also screwed up a lot of my finances over the years. I share my stuff pretty publicly, and I have a campaign with Relay. One is my team's finances, and the other one, this was my idea, not theirs. They weren't bullying me, was I called it the worst businessman alive. I think it's the line we went with, where it's just me absolutely making fun of myself and all the mistakes I made in finances over the years.
Well, there was literally an article that came out about Jack, and the headline was, like, we sat down with, like, the self-proclaimed worst business owner alive, which was crazy.
We've come a long way.
So, we love that. I thought the worst business owner was Donald Trump, but I guess that's it. All right, you did a partnership with Relay, right?
Yeah.
I lost $5,000 on my basketball team last year. So I own a professional 3x3 basketball team where I pay for the flights, hotels, travel, and entry fees for us to play in tournaments. And we won 6 championships last year, around $7,000 in prize money. And I personally lost $5,000 because I didn't know how to run the team. So I'm doing something crazy this season. I'm going to show you all of the finances of my team live as the season goes. And I want your help making the financial decisions for my team. This is all within Relay. It's a business banking platform that offered to help me out. So Relay and I chatted to make sure that every dollar has a specific job. I now have owner's capital, prize winnings, expenses, clear accounts so I know where the money is going for tournaments. Now I just have to answer the harder question. How much money am I willing to risk on this season? Should I let you guys become part owners of the team to help us? I don't know. I'll figure that part out. In the meantime, give Relay a try.
A Netflix sound afterwards.
Very cool. All right, Jack. Well, hopefully after this, you're not the worst business owner ever, and you can get your stuff in order, you know? All right, Ariel, our wonderful financial expert up here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Ariel. I am a CPA. I started out in more traditional celebrities, so entertainers and athletes, and then the new wave of celebrity came to be, which is the content creator. So I left my full-time job to focus on working with creatives exclusively, and I do their taxes, fractional CFO work, accounting, all that fun stuff. So not exactly funding a basketball team or playing in that universe, but right now is my Super Bowl as we are aiming for April 15th.
Ooh. Ariel's here to, like, decompress a bit. All right?
Truly, yeah.
So,
the Diet Coke really took the edge
yeah,
off.
there you go. There you go. Amazing. Well, great introductions. I love to hear this. I want to kick off with kind of setting the lay of the land, right? We talk a lot about creators making money, managing your money. How the hell are creators even making money today? Because I think for a lot of people, it's brand partnerships that are top of mind, but there certainly are a lot of avenues. And so, Viviana, we'd love to kind of kick it off to you and hear from each person how we're seeing creators and talent make money today, and maybe there's some unique ways that they're making money, and then we'll kind of lead into ultimately more of that business side there.
Yeah, for me, it is brand partnerships, affiliate income. So I have, I push out a lot of financial savings accounts, business banking accounts, high yield savings accounts. And so I get paid every time somebody signs up through my affiliate link. And then I also have my own digital products. I launched my first one last year, and I've done a little bit over 30,000 just from one single product alone. I sell it for less than $10, and then I just launched a new product, which is a debt tracker, earlier this year, and I'm coming out with a couple more.
Nice. And so these are things that people in your audience can basically download, sign up for, but a one-time purchase, right?
Yeah, it's a one-time purchase, yeah.
Very cool.
And then hopefully long-term, I will be offering something like a community or a group coaching offering.
What's your largest income stream right now?
Right now, it's probably still the brand deals.
Yeah.
But the goal is to eventually not depend so much on the brand deals because they can be up and down.
Got it. Makes sense. And brand deals kind of enable to be able to work on those other things, right? As those are coming in, and hopefully you can shrink that pool to an extent. Yeah. Yusuf, I'm curious, what are you seeing, in conversations with creators and other, digital small businesses in terms of the income streams today?
I think a lot of what Viviana mentioned is definitely like top of mind. I think the things that are challenging when those dollars start to come in are really like how do you start to set aside money for taxes or payroll or really kind of have control? Because I think when you're doing a W-2 job, your taxes are taken care of for you, right? And then the challenge is how do you actually like start to think about kind of automating those funds and making sure you're setting funds aside. I think that's like one of the key challenges that we see.
Interesting. Ariel, you do finances for a lot of creators, variety of talent. What are you seeing in terms of the streams in which they are making their money from? Is it also kind of more of the brand partnership side, or are there other unique ones as well?
I would say it's definitely varied based on the creator. One thing that I'm really trying to encourage a lot of my clients to do is consider brand or product building so that they can have a legacy beyond just their online presence, because they're similar to what Viviana said, there's a lot of up and down with the brand deals. So if they can create a product or create a digital course or something like that that lives outside of their personal brand, but use their personal brand to get that started, I think that's a great way to have more of a legacy long term.
It's interesting. Jack, I'm curious on your end. Kind of similar to how Viviana answered, what are you looking at in terms of how your income streams are set up today and how they've evolved also, I think, is important.
It's changed a lot. I was very brand deal reliant because before I was a creator, I used to run social for tech brands. So like I was very comfortable being a creative strategist. I liked doing branded content. Like that video I made for Relay, that was fun for me. And like my TikTok account for basketball has 70,000 followers. That did 150,000 views organically just because like that's part of the process I enjoy. But as I've tried to scale the business, there's been lots of things now. So I have 2 digital products, a course that I did with Teachable, who's a frequent sponsor here, about personal branding. That did $50,000 in its first month. I've got another product that's meant to help marketers who not become content creators, but just dip their toe into being online. Like it can be really scary if you've been 10 years into your career and know you got to network a little bit, but like maybe you don't live in New York and have access to stuff like this. So it's called Break an Egg. It's priced at $5 a month because I just want it to be affordable for everybody. In 3 years, that's done. It's just about to hit 100K in revenue for that. And then I have a couple other, like I do speaking events. I haven't even dipped my toe into affiliate. I have lots of questions for you about that later. But we're just looking at my business overall and how I'm spending money, how I'm making money. And for Q1, this is my best quarter ever. I had 350,000 in booked business between brand deals, digital products, and then I launched a consultancy off of my marketing newsletter where our first client was a 6-figure client.
How many people here run a consultancy or freelance alongside content? Show of hands, right? So, that's also a unique way as a creator to be making money where your content is kind of serving as that top of funnel fuel for driving, leads, which I always think is super interesting. For Viviana and Jack, I'm curious for Viviana, when did it click that you were actually running a business as a creator? Because I think that a lot of us here who may be doing content on the side or alongside a full-time job, it's a side gig. So there's not that mindset that this is a full-time thing. And I'm curious when that clicked for you and those signals.
Yeah, I've been creating content since 2021, and at the beginning it was just for fun. I wanted to give back to the community, and one of the biggest mistakes I made was not giving myself permission to make income off of my content, and so I didn't start charging for anything until 2024. So I was giving away things for free, I was not collecting emails, and in 2024, when brands started approaching me, I was like, okay, I think that it's okay for me to make money off of this. And so I finally got to the point where I felt comfortable allowing myself to be paid for what I do, because as you guys know, as creators, you're putting in a lot of work. You are editing, you're doing research, you are, posting, like all of that takes hours. And so, you should get compensated for that and allow yourself to, I guess, run your content as a business if that's what you ultimately want. If that's your dream, if content is your dream, then you have to make it sustainable. And for it to be sustainable, you have to charge.
What did you have to overcome mentally for that?
A lot of imposter syndrome. I talk about this online all the time, but as a daughter of immigrants and as somebody that grew up low income, I felt like I was never enough, like I wasn't good enough to make money or even just manage money. And so I documented all of this, but essentially, once in my career, I hit 100K salary and I shared this online publicly, I never thought that I would be able to get there. And so when I was building my career and at the same time I was posting content part-time, I think that I finally started feeling confident when I started just making more money and telling myself, oh, you could do this too. Like, it's not just the people that you see online, but you can do it too.
Right. Super interesting. Jack, a similar type of situation? Like, how has your relationship been with your thing turning into a business and then also, being able to build it as a business?
It was interesting, because I never wanted to be a creator. That wasn't the plan. I had about 200,000 followers on the marketing side without trying to monetize it, because my only goal was to get jobs from that. And I had gotten my last 3 full-time jobs literally from Twitter DMs. Like, I had brought in multi-million-dollar clients to my agencies through Twitter DMs. That was my only goal. COVID happens. I get my first ever layoff. I take what I didn't realize at the time be my last full-time job, and started to realize, oh, there's probably some money in this thing that I've not even thought about monetizing. And then I kind of jumped in full-time originally with Morning Brew, and then ended up owning my newsletter in full. And just looking at my inbox, I'm like, oh, people want to pay me to do this kind of the thing. I was writing breakdowns of case studies for fun. It's like, oh, you want to do a $10,000 sponsorship in my newsletter for the thing I was already doing? Wonderful. Let's do that instead. And then once Hoops became a thing, I functionally have 2 full-time creator jobs now. I realized while I was in Thailand a couple weeks ago, I realized I have worked every day for 13 months, including weekends. Oh, it's time to build a real business. And now I'm making hires, and we have management, you and I both now, and hiring proper bookkeepers, and actually building out a team. So really, I view it as a business in the last 2 months.
Right. When we were talking previously about this, for Yusuf and Ariel, I think you touched on something about goal setting. That setting goals kind of helps you think better about your money or kind of achieve certain things. And I think that, for a lot of creators in the room who are kind of going about things in a more laissez-faire way, it leads to that mindset of oh, this isn't really a real thing. And I was in that boat when I was building Creator Com NYC, where I wasn't thinking about goals of revenue and whatnot, and that was fine for a while. But at a certain point, it was okay, well, if you want this to be a serious thing, a sustainable thing, you kind of need to set those goals. And so I'm curious how creators and folks in the room can think about goals as an initial starting point of moving in that more business building direction.
Sure. I think it just helps make everything a lot more tangible. I agree with you being laissez-faire. Even in my own business, I was doing it as a side hustle before it was my full-time job. So it was kind of just for funsies and whatnot. And
Accounting for fun?
You'd be surprised.
Accounting, hey, they're the ball over here. Accounting and marketing case studies,
Yeah. No, I mean, I loved the clientele, and I was just taking things on to kind of see if there was traction. And in the beginning, you can take risks like that because I had the support of my full-time job. But I would say that goal setting really helped me at least see what could be next. And I think especially for a lot of my creators, they're very avoidant. They don't want to check their revenue. They don't want to check their expenses. I think that there's a lot of avoidance around money especially. So I feel like my clients that are interested in knowing their bottom line and taking an effort to reach a certain goal and be in tangible numbers are more likely to achieve that than those that are kind of just closing their eyes and hoping it all works out.
So what are those goals creators should set? What should they even be thinking about? Is it revenue? Is it team? Is it what are those numbers? Those tactical things.
Yeah, I mean everyone's completely different, but I would say setting a revenue goal is a really great start. Setting a goal for what that revenue can do for you. Are you looking to buy time? So how much money do you need to make to have a full-time hire or to pay someone to help you edit and all of that stuff? It's not just about dollars in the bank. I think it's really about what that money can put to work for you and your business to sustain growth and then also meet your personal goals as well.
It's interesting. When I because when I think about that, when I was leaving to do Creator Economy YC full time, my goal was ultimately that the revenue of this, endeavor matched or exceeded what I was doing in kind of the like job I was being contracted for, right? And it had to do so for like 3 months plus. And so that kind of was like a goal thing that I guess that made sense in terms of like that's my personal, type of situation.
Yeah, I think that's a really common goal to have, to plan a time to pivot from what you're currently working on. I think that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we step back just generally from like creator kind of revenue goal setting and talk about like goal setting in general, there's like a list of books that I have that I categorize as like terrible title but great book. And one of those books, I'm gonna
also very fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna out myself on this. Is "Awaken the Giant Within" by Tony Robbins. It was written a million years ago. You read it, there's gonna be stuff in it. You're like, oh, like that's not great. But the whole like mindset shift that he kind of advocates for and how he thinks about goal setting is like very powerful. Prior to Relay, like I was trying to figure out how to get here. Like I was really trying to figure it out. And one of the things he recommended is looking out 5 years and defining from a personal perspective, from a professional perspective, where do you want to be? And defining like at least for me, it wasn't anything like crazy, but I like set like a net worth goal of like, hey, I want to have $100,000 or something in 5 years, and here's where I need to be in 3 years, or here's where I need to be, this year. And actually writing that out is an insanely powerful thing. At first, I would just write it and then put it in like on a shelf somewhere and not look at it. Maybe look at it like halfway through the year, and then eventually, kind of looking at it every morning is like kind of harrowing, candidly. You're like, fuck, I got to do this thing. But that sort of stuff I think is like really powerful, especially when you're really just accountable to yourself in this type of work.
Yeah, I think that's important. And also, our activation here, which is, I should remember it. There you go. By the end of this year, my business will blank. So you guys want to make sure you fill that out. But I'm excited to kind of check out what people laid out there in terms of their goals for a business. But I think that's a really important thing. You want to set that vision. And I think people get scared by 5-10 years goals. But like in order to get somewhere, right, and even start to make the money for it or understand how to save, and that stuff, which we'll get into, you need to kind of have that vision there. Jack, you had something you wanted to add to that?
I mean, I had fun goals. Like it was like, one, I would like to stay in New York forever now. Like I would like to raise kids in New York. So I know I need X amount of money to do that. But even on the basketball side, like one of my goals was that none of my teammates have to pay to play basketball anymore. So like besides that, I'm getting brands to like fly me around the world to play. I'm bringing 3 guys with me who either never got to play pro basketball or thought their careers were over. And I've had guys who I've brought on my teams where like they've gotten their next real pro contract by coming with me to play in a tournament. So like that's I got to pay for my whole rec league team. Like at the end of the season, I surprised them, was like, surprise, your whole fee's paid for. Here's all your Venmos back. Like it's now free to play on this team. So like just doing stuff like that for like the guys in my world, like that's a big part of it for me.
Hell yeah. We love that. Good guy, Jack. So I want to shift kind of to what I talk about with running your business out of a personal bank account. Again, show of hands. How many people are only have their personal bank account right now? Get them. I am curious for both Yusuf and Ariel. Why is that not a move, and like, what can that cost you down the line? Kind of taking in this element of like, oh, maybe someone's like shooting me. It's just $300 or whatever, right? Why is that not the optimal place to be in, and like where should creators actually start from that standpoint?
Sure. I'm going to pretend I didn't see all the hands that I saw go up. No, I'm just kidding.
Trauma.
Now's a great time to start. Really, first of all, you're making your own life more difficult. So if you are commingling personal funds and business funds when it is April 7th and you are getting ready to do your taxes, you are now combing through a lot more transactions that are not applicable to your tax return than need be. So make things easier on yourself. Have a business bank account where all of your business money is deposited. Secondly, in the unfortunate event of an IRS audit, which nobody wants to hear, they do happen. So really, they're going to comb through your bank account also, and they don't know the difference between a personal deposit and a business deposit. So they may be assuming that everything in that one bank account is for business. So just make your life a little bit easier. You don't want to have to argue or dispute any of this with the IRS. So I would say to just totally keep it separate. That's my number one piece of advice for sure.
Interesting. Yusuf, anything to add to that?
A plus one, I've personally done this and been audited, and it's a bitch. It takes 5 minutes to sign up for like a business bank account online. Like that's, and it's free.
Yeah.
It is free.
I think
It's like a form of self-care, right? Like, yeah, you're doing this thing for real. You open the account. Maybe it sits empty. It doesn't matter, right? You're just getting started and figuring it out.
Yeah, I think in addition to legitimizing, similar to what we were talking about with goal setting, it's going to make things much clearer, right? You'll be able to see your bottom line much easier, what's coming in and out of the account. So you'll be able to see if you're hitting those goals that we were talking about earlier.
I think that's important. I'm curious, how many people here are comfortable spending money on their business? Okay. How many people here, like, they're hesitant to? Okay, I'll raise my hand confidently.
I didn't start doing it till like 2 months ago, basically. I was just drowning myself.
So
all the time.
talk to us about that. Why, like, what has your relationship been with kind of spending money on your business? Why has there been that hesitancy, and how have you finally overcome it? I mean, I know Creator Con NYC was supportive with the mindset there, but
I love when you go into Brett voice. No, I mean, I'm sure everyone here, like, if anybody who's gotten their first brand deal, like, we functionally run what we think are like 99% profit businesses because we're not accounting for our time or the various subscriptions we pay for or all that stuff. Like unlike almost any other business that has startup costs, you can theoretically be a creator with no startup cost. So as a result, like it was just very scary to me to even spend $1, even though I was already clearing like I've cleared $200K a year for 5 years as a creator. I still wasn't spending money on my business. I didn't even want to have a manager for a long time. I was like, why would I give 20% of that business away? Then I signed with the manager, like, oh, because he doubled my income. That makes sense. Like, but it just took me a long while to even realize, like, you got to spend money to make money. Like, we've all heard that phrase. It's just true at some point. And like, one of the cool things, and I encourage you to do this not in the way that I did, you can slowly scale how you spend as a creator. It can be a VA. It can be upgrading one of your subscriptions from one of your platforms to a better version of that. It's like there are little steps you can take to make your life easier so you don't do what I did and just like destroy yourself for years.
Viviana, how has your relationship been with seeing money as a tool, right, and not something that's kind of like sucking out of your income?
Yeah, I think in the beginning I was very similar. I pretty much last year, since I was part-time and then I went full-time, I saved all the money that I made from content just in my business bank account. I didn't touch any of that, and last year I made around $70,000 part-time. So I just saved all of that because I was like, okay, I'm gonna prepare myself for when the time comes when I do decide to go full-time. I will have a financial safety net. Well, the business will have a financial safety net because I keep business and personal separate. So the business will have a financial safety net, and I will also feel comfortable investing into my business because I have a lot of cash on hand. I also, had a really good CPA that was helping me figure out, okay, if you do invest in the business, here are some things that could give you a really good write-off. So I actually hired a contractor. It didn't work out. I actually had to let her go. So, you kind of have to test the waters and try to see what works for you. But right now, what I'm investing in is I also hired a manager, a talent manager. They take 20%, but they also have been getting me really good rates on videos. And then I am considering also hiring a VA soon because it is really time consuming to like manage your emails and do all the admin stuff.
One of the scary parts for me was like, because I hadn't spent money, and I got all kinds of like family money trauma from my past. But like when I started spending money, and then like an employee didn't work out. Yeah. That was like, okay, I just lit X amount of money on fire. Yeah. So instead of realizing like, okay, like this is how businesses work. Not every employee is great. You go hire the next one. I tried to do the whole business myself again for 6 months and just started drowning again. And like, you have to keep kind of taking those swings at finding the right people and being willing to like fail at things. But when it came to how I was spending my money on my business, I was so hard on myself with every failure, especially when it was hiring someone to help me with a business that was both precious to me and like felt like very new in the world.
Yeah. I'm curious, how should creators think about hiring, in a sense, and what should they be looking at maybe from like a monthly or like quarterly basis? Because obviously like you're seeing money go, but there's money coming in, and so your profit might dip. So like how should creators tactically think about hiring and understanding that? And maybe it's even like adding tools to their stack, right? Because there's so much you can do now with software out there, but still like that is a monthly or yearly expense. So I'm curious, Ariel, if there's any understanding there, what you might talk through with your clients.
Yeah, I have this conversation with my clients a lot. I even have this conversation when I'm starting a new relationship with the client. I say, so many of my clients, especially creatives, really cannot be creative when they are bogged down by the numbers or bogged down with the admin that you guys mentioned. So if you are unable to do what you're good at because you are up at night thinking about your taxes, I think that's a worthwhile way to spend money. Or if you're just totally
Half of you here.
if you're just totally overwhelmed by your inbox, maybe it is worth a VA. So it's not just about the money, it's about the peace of mind. And I also think really about buying back your time.
Interesting. Yusuf, anything to add there?
I think, when you're kind of coming up and trying to figure out how to make money in this world, it can sometimes feel really like scarce, because it is. And I think one of the challenges, at least that I've experienced personally, and I think a lot of people experience, is recognizing that like whatever dollars you've made today are what you've made so far. Like we will all make more money in our lives, like knock on wood, right? And so, what Jack said around like you can try different tools, you could hire a VA, like these are doors you can go into and you can walk back out, and recognizing that there is more money, there's more opportunity out there, I think is like a really important thing. I'm gonna tell like one funny story if I can. I was in Vegas.
I just better laugh.
I hope. I know there's a lot of pressure. I really fucked up by saying funny story. Oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? I was in Vegas, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was at this bar. I was there for a trade show. Don't ask. And I was talking to this like old guy who like went there every year. And I'm like, hey, what do you guys do? He's like, oh, we bet, we gamble money. I'm like, do you gamble like large amounts? He's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, what happens if you lose? He's like, I go back to work and they give me more.
That's great. That was funny. That was good. But let's actually expand on that, because I remember you talking about bets and how to size those bets. How can people in the room genuinely understand when they go home tonight how to size the bets that they're taking? Because I've added software, or if I've hired people, right? Or you take a bet to use a venue or something. How do you size those bets, right? Is it relative? Is it a mindset thing, or is it a practical thing?
Yeah. I think it's relative. I think understanding where you're trying to get to is really important. I think also understanding that there are kind of thresholds you can hit where you feel really uncomfortable, right? And understanding that this is a muscle that you need to build as a business owner is the hard part, because you're gonna fuck it up. Like my team wants me to do this like after it broke thing that we do. It's like presentation, and they're like, Yusuf, can you talk about a fuck up? And I'm like, I mean, I have so many, and I suppress all of them, so this is gonna be hard for me to access. But
this is your content that you're gonna do.
There you go. I don't know what this is insufferable. Anyways,
It's like therapy.
Yeah.
Money therapy. That's what it is.
So I think it's treating it as a muscle to build, and not, hey, I made a bet and I fucked up. Like you're gonna fuck up. Like it's gonna go wrong. It's more about what you learned from it, how you iterate, how you keep finding the path. Because maybe the idea that you had is correct, but the execution was wrong, and that's okay. The idea can still be good. You just need to find a different version of it.
Yeah, that's great. From a more, again, another tactical standpoint, what is like the minimal viable setup from a kind of financial or business alignment standpoint for creators that they need? Like, and in what order does that look like? And I'm curious, maybe what was the order that you did? Because maybe it was LLC, the bank account, right? And I'm curious what your experience was, Viviana.
Yeah, when I started making money, I actually knew immediately I need to hire an accountant so that they could help me figure out.
That was was that your first move?
Yeah,
originally?
because I didn't know where to start. Nobody in my family had started a business before me, and so you guys probably know this too. Like starting a business, starting an LLC is like hard work. You don't know who to open one with. You don't know like where to send documents, and so I was like, I need to hire somebody to guide me. And thankfully, that person did help me open up the LLC. They told me to open up the business bank account, and so I did all that. And yeah, I knew immediately, do not mix personal with business money, because that's like a big mistake that a lot of people make. And so I'm glad that I spoke to somebody before doing it on my own.
Where do you find this person?
At FinCon. It's a big financial literacy convention that a couple of my creator friends here, we all go to that conference every year, and you get to meet other personal finance creators, and then there's also brands. I think Relay was there last year. And so, yeah, if you guys are into personal finance and want to meet other personal finance creators, that is the place to go.
Got it. So you went expert first, and then recognized kind of what the next move was. Yusuf, I'm curious, like what you see. Obviously, with Relay, you have a lot of folks coming in. What is that minimal viable setup? Folks should be building out.
I mean, this is going to sound very self-serving, Brett.
It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think whether you're a sole proprietor or you've incorporated, setting up a business bank account so you can set aside money for taxes, like that should be the thing that you should just automatically do, so you don't have to deal with that later. And then I think the question is, like, how do you do your bookkeeping? Do you use something like Wave or FreshBooks? And that would be kind of it. And then maybe I'd like throw in receipt capture, but you can get that through Relay. So.
Do you need anything to set up a business bank account? Like, is there anything specific?
I mean, if you're a sole proprietor, you just need like an ID, an SSN, and you can get up and running in a few minutes. It's pretty easy. If you're like an LLC, we try to do as much as we can under the covers. Maybe we need your certificate of incorporation, but like, not really. It's pretty easy.
That's good. All right, it's tax season, so I'm gonna kind of press here. What do people need to know about their taxes so they are not blindsided come next year? Because I'm sure some people are already being blindsided, including myself. What needs to be done from a tax standpoint throughout the year when you are a sole proprietor or you're self-employed? What does that ultimately look like? Maybe the top 3 to 5 things.
Yeah, we're a little late for this year, but I think you can get started right now.
Write that down.
Right now for next year. I would say the number one mistake, it's not really a mistake, it's just a learning lesson, is not setting aside money for quarterly taxes. All of my creatives year one doing it full time for the first time are totally shocked when they get their tax bill. There is an additional tax for being self-employed that is steep. So I would say to be setting aside your money throughout the year and paying it in on a quarterly basis. Coincidentally, Q1 is the same day as tax day. So next week you could make your first quarterly payment for 2026 and get yourself moving and grooving a little early this year.
How much should people be setting aside?
It really is dependent on your tax bracket and where you live. We live in New York, which is the most amazing place on earth, but also one of the most expensive places on earth. I tell my clients 20 to 30% depending on where they land. So you could set aside 30% and then have a little bit left over, which is always nice.
I'm doing half now. I would rather be totally wrong and just be, oh wow, extra money. Then it's my own return for myself at the end of the year.
That is nice. Yeah. Or especially if you're doing that after. I don't know if you're doing before or after expenses, but half is great. The more, the better.
That's good. Jack. Oh yeah, of course.
What I also did, which I recommend people to do, hopefully you agree with this, is to open up a solo 401k.
Great.
So that you could reduce your taxable income. And so it's basically like a 401k, but it's for self-employed people, and you can open one on your own with any of the big brokerage institutions.
Do you contribute to that like routinely, or is it like at the end of the year?
Yeah, whatever works for you. But what I do is I max out my 401k so that I could get a big tax deduction, and so I've done that every year. But last year I opened the solo 401k because that was the first year I was technically self-employed.
Oh, it's very interesting.
There are great retirement vehicles for self-employed people that are much better than for those of us maybe on payroll. For self-employed people, you can contribute up to $70,000 to a SEP or a solo 401k, whereas if you have a traditional W-2 job, it's usually around $23,000. So
what's a SEP?
It's a similar retirement vehicle for people that are self-employed.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to go research afterwards. And so you can contribute up that amount of money to it. And is that all tax deductible?
Yes, it depends on your revenue. It depends on your profit. So you can contribute up to 25% of your profit, up to $70,000.
Damn. All right. God, I gotta get home. I am genuinely curious, Yusuf, and this is a bit of a plug for Relay. And we partnered with Visa back in July, who was a partner of Relay, and so we kind of talked about a similar topic. But there's a big conversation around like, if you use a traditional bank, right, for your business banking, and no shade to any of the traditional banks, but there's something about the way they operate that is not built for this new digital economy. And one, I just want to call out what it is that's lacking in traditional banking when it comes to our industry, and also like what is needed or what's being solved to kind of serve that for how all of us here operate and make money and are growing and evolving.
Yeah. I think I'll go back to like the earliest days of Relay and then bring us back to today and then what we're going to ship in the next kind of year. In the earliest days, I'd get on call. We had like an early product. It kind of sucked. Like it was, you're like building something for the first time. And we talked to customers, and the feedback we'd hear is twofold. Number one, it just feels like you're on the journey with us. And number two, I finally understand my finances. On that second bullet, we started to dig into it. We really wanted to understand it because we weren't delivering flashy dashboards or reporting or kind of anything. But what people were doing was they were setting up like multiple checking accounts, just like Jack did in that video, and setting aside funds so they can make sure they have tax money, that 30% that we just talked about. And do it automatically inside of Relay or set aside funds for payroll. And that effectively was like their version of accounting, right? Like most small business owners, they live, and breathe cash. Like that's the thing. They don't read their P&L. And so, when we think of what banking can be, it can be this financial partner that not only makes clarity really easy, but in the future, you can actually ask it questions. Hey, what does my cash flow look like in the next 8 weeks? Because that's actually a piece of functionality that we're going live with in the next kind of like month or so. And you're going to be able to actually see the inflows and outflows and really understand your business in a whole new way.
That's awesome.
I mean, I would say, like, again, like I'm a Relay customer because I know the team. They've reached out, and I looked at it, and I don't work with any product that doesn't, like, actually work for me. Money made my head spin for years. Like, it tore apart my family at one point. Like, I do not like thinking about money. The Relay platform is so simple, and I think it's really easy to pay for lots of platforms that have tons of features that you will never actually use, but it's like, oh, well, I need this big list of bullet points if I want to pay a subscription. Like, the whole value of Relay for me was like, here's the dashboard. Like I saw it in like Brett's slide he put up front. Like, I can move the money around instead of like looking at an Excel sheet that's all theoretical. I can just move the money into the other account. I'm like, okay, cool. That's the subscriptions account. This is the tax account. Like, the simplicity is what did it for me. And I think like it's gonna sound like a plug. I guess functionally it is. Like, if you are a creator who has not figured this part of it out, like, it is a very great platform for you to like start dipping your toe into that, because it's just so easy to get started.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear it. Well, I do want to open it up for Q&A while we have some time, and I can kind of go around and share the mic. Just please make sure to keep your questions, relevant. I think you'll have better questions than I did, but I hope everyone enjoyed some of those answers there. But yeah, just raise your hand, and we'll try to get to a handful. We can start here up front. Someone have a question?
Hello, my name is Jade. This question is for Jack. I know you mentioned earlier that at first you were working with an agency and a lot of people were reaching out to you just with your content creation. I actually work at an agency as well and also do content creation. So I kind of want to go deeper into like, how do you feel like you use your creator skills and also helped you out with the agency life? Because yes, I want to make money as a creator, but I also want to make money in my agency job as I am doing both. But plan to do full-time creator soon.
What's your content?
Lifestyle, beauty, fashion, things of that sort.
So for me personally, all of my content was built around my professional expertise. So like I was writing Twitter threads breaking down social media case studies while I was like leading social media for Beats by Dre as my day job. So there was like a direct path. Like literally I got a Spotify product manager slid in my DMs. It was like, hey, like, would love to work with you on something, and brought like a $500,000 of Spotify into my agency where I got to run their social media for a hot second. So like for my business, it was very one-to-one. If you've read any of my writing, that's why I'm so heavy on niching down. That's why How to Hoop Forever and Future Social, those audiences don't know each other because marketers don't care about basketball and vice versa. I think for you though, and I think this is becoming much more common where so many of us are kind of homegrown creators now that aren't necessarily doing content about whatever our day job is. Like what I would encourage you to do is like, don't be afraid to like talk about your content within your agency, and don't be afraid to mention your agency experience as you're either meeting other creators or talking to brands there, because you are developing really unique experience by actually doing the work, and they really can feed each other still. I would just say always have like your elevator pitch quite strong about both of them, always know your numbers, and like you'd be amazed how they can feed one another, especially if you find like the right boss at the day job. A lot of them are like, will be really impressed by that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ruchika, and my question is from Viviana. And my question is like, previously I was doing content for full time, and now I have started my job as a content creator, as a like social media growth manager and content creator. And so I haven't registered myself as a solopreneur yet. What should I do? Like my job is already cutting down my tax, and being creator, I don't know like. It's in my self account, like the mistakes I'm doing, what you have done already. So,
Yeah, thank you for your question. I mean, I've been there where I worked my full-time job and it was very demanding, and then also I would come home and work on content, and my husband can attest to this. They were long days. Like I was working from 7 to 7 and then coming home and working on content until midnight. And that was just part of the grind, I guess. I mean, I would say, it is going to be difficult to manage both, but leverage what you're learning at your job and take those skills, similar to what you said, like take those skills and apply them into your content. And so what kind of content are you working on?
I'm from travel food lifestyle, but
Lifestyle.
Previously I was full-time creator, I was earning, I'm still earning through content.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But my question is like, since I have both incomes now, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm opposite. I'm using my content journey with my job.
Yes. Okay. Are you separating the money that you're making from both? I would separate the money and build up a financial like safety net so that if you do want to go back to content full time, you feel like, you're set up for success essentially.
So still putting it into a business bank account.
Yeah, yeah. Open the business bank account.
You can get your full-time income into your personal bank account.
Yeah, and if you want to, you could take some of the money that you're making from your full-time job and invest that money into your content business. You could always do that. That's what I did. I mean, it took me maybe 4 years until I finally decided, okay, I'm going to go all in with content. But you decide on a number that you want to, like a goal that you want to have. And then once you reach that number, then hopefully you feel like, okay, I can do this full time now. Yeah. Yeah, LLC, yeah. Are you based in New York? Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we could talk about this, but having an LLC in New York is like really, really complicated.
And expensive.
You have to, and expensive.
How many people have an LLC
So-
in New York? And then you got to pay like the $10,000 for like a newsletter mention.
Yeah, all that. Is there a recommendation that you guys have for where to create the LLC?
I do Delaware with a lot of my clients. It doesn't skirt the New York publication requirement if you still like register to do business here. But if you want to remain anonymous, I encourage a lot of my clients to do Delaware because they're often public facing. But
is
Or an
there a-
LLC.
correct, yeah.
But is there like a specific agency or service that you usually recommend?
I like Zen Business, and I also like E-Minutes, which is a little bit more full service.
All right, love that. All right, let me swing back here. Maybe take 3 more, and then we'll wrap.
I'll also hang out like for a while afterwards. Anybody has questions? if it's
This is
scary
the
to ask in
second
person.
tallest guy here after Jack. I don't know, though.
Hey, what's up? I'm Graham. I run a network of Instagram pages in the New York City and Philadelphia suburbs. I have about 350,000 followers there. And last year, I only made like $20,000 in revenue because I suck. I did 150 million impressions. I suck at selling myself and selling towns of. How do you find a good manager? And then how do you like read that someone's legit? Because like I feel like everyone's a social media, like a talent manager, and then like they don't deliver.
There are a lot of managers out there now. The good news is the industry standard has become not requiring a long-term contract with a manager, so you can usually kick the tires with pretty much anybody. I would look for somebody that's done this before. Do not be their first client. Someone who, and I would look for someone specifically in your space, like with the kind of content you make. There is a lot of content in that, like, if that type of. You said it's New York lifestyle stuff.
No, it's like the suburbs lifestyle.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, I want to talk to you afterwards. 'Cause I'm curious about this. But I would say, find someone that has some success. Find someone who has done works with people similar to you. That won't be a bad thing. Like they will have, hopefully will have enough brand deals to go around for multiple creators. Like Brett and I are managed by Wishley Group. He specializes in specifically B2B content creators. And there's 50 of us, and there's plenty of money to go around for all of us. So wouldn't lock in with anybody specific. And then I would also just ask influencer managers like what they think you should do to make yourself more packageable. So like with my Hoop Forever stuff, my view numbers are crazy. Like a flop for me is 40,000 views and I only have 170,000 followers. But a lot of it's me playing the games, which isn't necessarily as easy to package. So like a lot of conversations I had recently is like, okay, let's put more of my face in content. Let's do more B-roll. Like I'm probably gonna hire a videographer. So like they're following my team around to the hotel rooms and seeing how ridiculous that stuff is to make it more packageable for brand deals. So I would say like, ask them that question too. And you'll be able to hear if they have like a strategic answer for you. That will help you vet them a little bit.
Good question. Maybe you'll find a manager here. Manager?
Hey guys, my name is Dylan Digital. I make job hunting tips and tricks videos with a video game spin to it to make the job hunting process educational and fun. So my question is, when did you know what was your number for saving for your business? And how soon did you save up that amount?
I guess I'll answer this and then you can go. But I didn't really have a number. I kind of just, like I said, last year, I just saved everything because I was still working full time. I saved everything that I was making from content and used that, whatever I made last year, as a safety net going into this year. And everything that I was making from my job, I was obviously spending. And so thankfully, like, I think it's honestly an advantage when you're working full time and doing content part time, because then you could just not rely so heavily on that content money.
Yeah, I kind of worked backwards from my expenses where it's like, okay, like I would like one of these things to pay for rent, whether it's one of like my digital products or like make sure my brand deal, and like in New York, rent's not cheap. So like I never had like the big dream number. Like this is the first year where I've set a financial goal for myself, like ever, which Yusuf is probably like, what are you doing, dude? Yeah, I mean, I just worked backwards from what I knew I was spending, basically.
All right, we got one more right here.
All right, this is for Jack. Oh, there you are. There's a column here. But I've never had the opportunity to ask someone who would actually know, does defense, in fact, win championships?
No, you have to score to win basketball games.
What about the Knicks this year? Going to be a good one? All right, y'all, that is our panel for tonight. Thank you for being such a great audience. Thank you for being respectful, for being quiet. I didn't even hear a peep. It was amazing. And it's just a huge round of applause for our amazing panelists here. Shout out to Relay and shout out to all our partners. Y'all, the panelists will be up here, so if you want to chat with them, you can. Of course, just form a line, be respectful, of their time as well. And also, hey, we still got some time here, so hang out, do your thing. There's some more food. If you have a drink card, get a drink. It is also a cash bar if you want something with